Security expert Onyekachi Adekoya, who's also been monitoring this development very closely. Mr. Adekoya, you've followed Plateau's conflict for years. You've also seen these latest viral videos from Reverend Dachomo calling it a Christian genocide. How should Nigerians understand that? You consider it accurate or overstated?
Nifemi, good evening to Nigerians, and thank you for the question. It's clearly you can see the Reverend has experienced something that many Nigerians should not experience, and we can understand the difficulties of the people of the Plateau. So to unpack emotions is very difficult because sometimes we also have to be very nuanced when we talk about issues of national security. Nifem, you know where I stand on these issues. The issues are, I mean, we're going from a whole range. We're going from a range of government-sponsored, the allegations of government-sponsored genocide against the people, to people on the ground not knowing whether there is a government or not, to another spectrum of a divide where we ask the question, should security at the subnational level be the responsibility of the federal government? And if you look at these states where you have the recurring issues of insecurity, as Kwara and Kogi has now begun to come again to the front burner, you will clearly see that it's a failure of leadership at the subnational level that is giving rise to these issues. Yes, there's problem in the Sahel. Yes, when we dimension the issue of Boko Haram, of ISWAP, ISIS, and SARO, and the madness, as it were, in the Sahel, we will clearly, want to lean towards the thinking that there's something bigger at play than the Nigerian states within the sub-Saharan African region. Yes, we will not shy away from those conversations. However, every sensible approach to security is local. And when you create space and place for crime and criminality to operate, then you give people like a bridgehead, from where they fan out and begin to destabilize the entire state. So
I'm wondering if I can just jump in quickly, what you make of the position of the Nigerian army. They've accused Reverend Dachomo of spreading falsehoods. Could his warning reflect genuine frustration rather than propaganda? What do you think is really happening here?
No, it's genuine frustration, if I mean, genuine frustration. And the Nigerian army on its part is just doing what we call narrative management. Because no federal government or no government, no country will fold its hand and say it's hapless or helpless. So, I mean, you expect the Nigerian army to try and manage the rhetoric and, the language out there. So they are also sounding caution because what lies on the other side is a complete resort to anarchy, where you feel like the instruments of states that retain the use of force can no longer maintain the peace. So people may go out to the street and resort to self-help. So it's okay for the Nigerian army to call people to caution. However, there is a clear case of frustration. It is in this same Plateau that, God rest his soul, then Chief of Army Staff Tajid Lagbaja was doing push-up with the troops in Bassa, where you had this skirmishes flare up. So the people on the Plateau are going through these pains. And I'm saying to the people on the Plateau, hold your governor responsible. And to the people in the subnational governments, we must all hold our governors responsible. The governors must come to the party. This convenient excuse of the governors saying that they are not chief security officer because they don't have force is true. The governors have command. They sit at the top of the State Security Council. Nifemi, a time is coming where we're going to call these governors out for their what we may class as shenanigans, complete disregard for even the advice of the security agencies they have within their domain. You don't want to know what is happening in some of these states. These our excellencies who are not so excellent don't take advice, don't want to spend the money, don't want to put the effort at the tip of the spear where it should be, cannot conscientize, cannot mobilize, cannot move the people. But if there's a political
what more can Mr. Governor do? Because you recall that at some point, the Plateau State governor also confronted the Nigerian military, asking why would he have a post some 200 meters from an attack. You heard the Reverend claiming that, alleging that they even left their post at some point. We hear governors say they don't have direct command over these security forces that you talk about. What more could he have done, or could they have done put together that they are not doing precisely?
Nifemi, they have command. It's a lie that they do not have command. What they do not have is control. The only commanding officer of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is the commander-in-chief. That's why it's called the commander-in-chief. He has the control. They have the command at the subnational level. It is the lack of initiative on the part of the governors that is causing these issues to spiral out of hand. It is, again, repeatedly, it is very convenient for the governors to come out and cry out foul. Nifemi, we must dissect. What are they doing with the security votes in their states? We must ask the questions. What are they procuring? Where is this money going to? What initiatives are they empowering? Nifemi, there are some states in this country where the vigilante who are armed are earning less than 20,000 naira a month. If they pay them the most, they pay them 25,000 a month. There are some states in this country where some of the formations, the support they get from the governor is not up to 500,000 naira a month. Some of them 1 million naira a month in this country. And then they spend on securities in billions. Where is the billions going to? Security is not cheap. Security is very, very, very expensive.
But how does that
in some of the northeastern states
impact directly on allegations that there appears to be some form of connivance, between certain security forces and those they claim perpetrate this crime?
There would always be that part of black sheep amongst the forces. Now, in the case where you say that there's a military checkpoint at a point and 200 meters to that point, something happened. You don't know the amount of times that the Nigerian army or security forces have pulled out on a fighting patrol, fighting blind, patrolling blind, only to fall into an ambush. It is not possible for the Nigerian army to respond to every situation in every nook and every cranny of the Nigerian state. It is not possible. The police cannot even do it. The Nigerian police force we have, about 50% is already assigned, maybe to companies, to VIPs, and to God knows what. So every corner, every shop corner cannot be manned. What we lack is the mobilization of the people and the resources at the subnational level to create a grassroots-led security program that has the initiative. We keep chasing these actors. We are always 2-3 steps behind because nobody can talk to the excellencies. The excellencies are like demigods in their states. They are the sun, they are the moon, they are the star. So he's the one with the budget.
I hear you.
So whether it's excellent or not, you do not know. But the results will show you what is happening in each of the states.
But
and I say to every Nigerian, judge the governors by the level of insecurity in their states.
And I hear you, but you're not completely absolving the federal government of blames because you know what they say about security and welfare being the priority of government even at the center. Is there some form of coordination failure between the state and the federal forces? Because it gets to the point where we are seeing these issues happen over and over again at the Middle Belt in this particular region. What should the federal government start doing differently in this regard?
Nifemi, at the inception of this administration, on this same program, I said to you in person, like this, that this president will fail woefully if he continues in the path of his predecessors. No one man can solve all of Nigeria's security problems. What the federal government has to do is to sponsor an executive bill to ensure the creation of state police, the lip service to it is long overdue. We've been paying lip service for the past 20 years. Until we bring, and you see, there's accountability and responsibility in security. And in terms of command, you must take command to where command becomes effective. Imagine you have state police, and then we have 79 Mopo squadron across this country, which are to act as a response force when there's a riot and any breakdown of law and order. If you have the state police, they become the first line of defense. Where that line of defense engages in contact, the squadron will come in and react. Where that engages contact and they cannot deal with it, then the different battalions and garrisons you have across the state can then react. You will find very quickly that we will have a force multiplier able to deal with these issues. So, Nifemi, our construct of security is a problem. In Nigeria, you don't have enough policemen to do police job because the policemen are on private special duty. But we have a private security industry that employs over 1 million Nigerians. You can license them to carry arms. If you need arm protection, go and pay for it. Why do I pay my tax and I pay the policeman again to protect me? That's double jeopardy. So there's a lot of inefficiency in our national security construct. The design is faulty. The assumptions upon which we design our national security is a cake. This is no longer 1960. This is 2025. We are projected to outgrow America in the next how many years? So we cannot continue business as usual. And because, listen, Nifemi, we will always go from one case to another. And these cases give Americans like Ted Cruz the opportunity and the latitude to claim that there is government genocide, because from the outside, they cannot understand why a government cannot decisively deal with these issues if the government doesn't have a hand in it. And perhaps the government is complicit by ignorance, not by design. So we need to rework our national security framing. What we have is failing. It will continue to fail. You can't patch a completely broken structure.
Let us speak to
no patchwork will work.
Let us speak to what should happen in the interim, because Reverend Achomo's call for self-defense has struck a nerve. You have talked about the dangers that come with that kind of community response. But what do you say to community members? You heard our correspondent earlier saying there's a trust deficit, between these community members and security forces. What do they do in the interim for individuals who feel like the security apparatus as it is currently constituted is compromised?
Ifem, I'm struggling to hear you a bit.
I'm asking
Can you please repeat the question?
Yes, I'm making reference to the Reverend's call for self-defense. You have highlighted the dangers that come with that. But what do these members of the community do in the interim, especially when they feel that the security infrastructure as it is compromised?
Nifemi, this is not a call to anything, but where the members of the community are tired of insecurity as a problem in the state, they should go and hold the state governor responsible, mobilize the communities, go to the state capital and protest. And if you must, protest and remove the governor. Let the House of Reps. Let me give you an example. There's a board meeting where the MD came and told the members of the shareholders that he will not be able to share dividend. And then one old man said, and he gave his reasons because he was funding expansion. And the old man said it's fine. He understands with the MD because he's funding expansion. So he will move a motion that they should replace the MD and bring in an MD that can pay dividend. This is very simple. You run on a campaign to ensure peace and prosperity. If you cannot give the people that dividend, resign honorably and let some other person come there and do it. Nifemi, security is not rocket science. It is doing the little needful things when you should, how you should, at the right time. Security at a state level is about creating a program for public safety and public order. Because without public safety and public order, there cannot be shared prosperity. There is no rocket science here. In the political framing, you have the polling units, you have the ward, you have the local government chairman. You know, we know how to mobilize for winning election. We should have enough sense to be able to mobilize for winning the fight against insecurity. If every state in Nigeria will get its security framing right, we would be able to deflect this issue of insecurity to states with lesser security framing. But because of the lack of sincerity, the lack of knowledge, what is the right word now? The nepotism in appointments when it comes to issues of security, the lack of depth of it, and the sheer size and scale of corruption, we are not able to deal with this issue. These matters are not too complex, sir. If you say the people go on a rampage of self-help, what would that yield? It would just be, reprisal killing against reprisal killing, and man in his very base, level becomes an animal. That doesn't solve the problem. We have ceded our authority as citizens to a government to rule on our behalf, where that government cannot do even the very basic things it has been elected to do, then the government should resign.
Mr. Adekoya, that's our time.
It's me saying here that the Plateau governor should resign, he should resign.
It sounds like you're saying that Governor Caleb Mutfwang has all it takes to end this crisis, and I'd like to hear 100%. From him precisely how he reacts to this position of yours. But that's our time. Onyekachi Adekoya.
Yes. He has the State House of Assembly. They can make laws. We have cases where CJTF is winning. Nifemi, every subnational leader in Nigeria has the wherewithal. Don't forget, we remove subsidy. There's money. Yes? All we just need is to organize and to resource, and then we can deal with the issues with sincerity.
Onyekachi Adekoya, security expert, that's our time. Thank you so much for talking to us on the program this evening. Well, I'd like to hear, perhaps somebody can share this clip with Governor Mutfwang so we can get his response on this matter, and also perhaps his efforts in addressing the challenge.